I knew that would happen. I knew that they would fucking mute me, and I forgot it anyway. And the reason that I knew that they were going to mute me is because I had a fucking Windows update today. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Hello. All right. Let's say this. Let's do this again. Hello. Hi, Jello. How are you? Yes, I'm awake. I'm alive. It is Wednesday. We're doing more Loader Woder. Yes. Or not Loader Woder. That's what I did it. That's what I did when I was muted too. We're doing Rogue Trader. Loader Woder is Friday, Saturday. Okay. Last week we got our Navigator. This is true. This is true. I prefer to still be alive. I prefer to live forever. Ugh. Also, YouTube like changed their fucking stream layout, and I don't like the new. I like change. Let's go. Man seeks lichdom. No, I seek no. See, my path to immortality is different. I seek robotification. I am transhumanist. I wish to be a robot. That copy. Can you change any of this? Like, this is garbage. I have to like scroll to see the entire like graph of how my stream is doing. And it's simply because they changed the way that the YouTube layout is. It's like the Diet Coke of immortality. I don't care. I don't give a single fuck. Whatever, I'll deal with it later. Alright, so. Last week. We got our Navigator. We got a couple of conversations with our Navigator. The Navigator tried, well, we had some options to flirt with the Navigator, and I use skyscraper-sized air quotes when I say flirt, because the options to flirt were A, the simpiest simp words that ever simped, times 1,000, or B, hey, let's fuck. Neither of which is Terry Crews, therefore we chose neither of those. Probably have 2 more conversations before you get to move to the next location, ambushing you in space. Hooray! Yeah, because I want to talk with the rest of the party. I'm gonna try to keep up with that. Talk with the rest of the party in between missions and shit. Because I have a feeling that that is something that this game did, is like has, you know, oh my god, they did things. We have thoughts.
Lord Captain.
Maybe not. Oh my god, yay! Kick is keeping up the streak.
Lord Captain.
Okay, so maybe I was wrong. You have something? The important question is why? I was fault checking the Vox devices in the ship's reliquary. Message recording works, but deletion does not. You have helped me establish that. Thank you. Why Lop-Eared Kleppas specifically? At that time, I had nothing to repent of, so I dictated an excerpt from an old letter to my mother. As you heard, it contained arguments in favor of keeping Lop-Eared Kleppas on the ship. I can still recite them from memory. Replace the initiative. Will do, Lord Captain. Would you like to discuss other matters? Nope, that's it. So... That's a fucking string of letters. Holy shit. All right, let's get rid of the completed quests. Suffered losses during the cultist can be remedied on Rykad Minoris. Engine series may be found somewhere in the system. Psychic stream is coming from astropathic station. Via the mission is driving the ship's astropath. Okay.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
You finished Argenta's request to talk to her already, so that's not... Yeah.
I am a part of House Orselio, an ancient dynasty of the Navis nobility. Since time immemorial, our family has served to advance knowledge, pushing at the
Would help if this was
boundaries of
open.
the dark unknown. The Starway Atlas contains 2,843 routes that chart the sectors of the Segmentum Obscurus and reach all the way from the Coronis Expanse to Holy Terror.
Wait. Wait. The so is the Starway Atlas like, that's like the roadmap of the galaxy? Also, why am I dropping frames? Why am I dropping like 10% of my frames right now? Hello? Why is my bitrate fucked? Hello? Please tell me that this is not going to be a thing that we're going to be dealing with today. That she has embedded in her chest. Okay, I was about to say, if that is the full map of the galaxy, that is a pathetically small number of roadways. You know what? I'm gonna search real quick. How many routes are charted in Warhammer 40k? The accountable number of charted routes, because the city covers the entire Milky Way galaxy and beyond, with the Imperium of Man spanning millions of worlds. Okay, I was about to say, like if we're talking a galactic level civilization, only having 2,843 routes is a crazy small number. Listen in silence.
And uniting the Imperium's thousands of worlds.
Millions.
House Orselio is bound by commercial powers
Apparently.
that houses Galeatis, Ortina, Drotus, and... There is a dark blue knot tightening on your neck, Lord Captain. I can see my reply is not satisfying your thirst for knowledge. What is it you desire to hear exactly?
What the fuck do you mean, a dark blue knot? Okay. Allow me to ask you a few personal questions.
You have my permission, Lord Captain.
Never lived anywhere other than that?
According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orselio worlds. Oh, what was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain. My childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that built their nests in the garden, or the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace. But everything is covered in a rosy haze.
The fishwife feels colors.
Perhaps it is my imagination.
So she's
not
just
my
high all the
memory
time. Got
that is
it.
Painting these pictures.
So that description feels like side quest to me. That description feels like side quest. Colorful birds, servants dressed in purple, blue fog that rolled over the lowlands. That tells me find these three things and you find her homeworld for her.
My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. And once a year, Great Regent Alronto would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command, so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well. The Regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason, it refused and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station. And you know they have their vocal cords removed, so they cannot break their vow of silence.
You know, as you do. As you do.
And since the subject has been breached, Lord Captain,
I like number 2 the most. What do you mean I'm offline? Hello? Wait, hold up. What do you... What? Okay, never mind. Never mind. It's fine. It was spinning for about 30 seconds. God damn it, dude. Yeah, and my bitrate is still, like, fluctuating fucking wildly. Alright, it seems to have stabilized for now. Let's see how long that lasts. So anyway, I was thinking about number 2. I was kind of going between number 2 and number 3.
your words sound amazingly blasphemous. If a ruler's duty dictates the need for violence, would dispensing it not be their responsibility? I will contemplate your answer in solitude.
Well, no, the best way to handle this is to have this conversation right now and continue this conversation, not just end it right there. What do you mean? What do you mean that's where the conversation ends? Do you always conceal it?
The Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore it is the symbol of our power. We are the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from wayward glances that may bear evil. Besides, I am aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rabble are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by their feeble minds.
There is a Oh, look at that. I'm back in red. I have dropped 16% of my frames since the reconnect. And that percentage is just climbing. I hate my internet, dude. I fucking despise my internet. It is so inconsistent. No, we're not doing that. Those are rookie numbers. Gotta pump those numbers up? No. Nope, not that one. Not that one. I will say this one.
Perhaps my appearance does not terrify you right now, but this will not always be so. The Navigator gene is unstable. My body is going to change over time. And only the God Emperor knows exactly how.
In genuine terror, Cassia presses fingers to her lips as if belatedly trying to stop the words from tumbling out. Yeah, that's fair. What does it feel like to guide a vessel through the warp? Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Elronto, always described his travels through the Immaterium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example. But the wood would not reveal itself to me. But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I've always brightened up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely complete.
That's interesting. So I have come across something that's similar to this. This is kind of how this is kind of how the site is described in the Dresden Files. So if you haven't read the Dresden Files, I would recommend you fix that because it is my favorite book series of all time. And B, one of the things that wizards in the Dresden Files have is something called the sight. Basically, they also have a third eye. It is a metaphorical one, not a physical one. But if they open that third eye, they are able to cut through all illusions. They see the world as it truly is. The problem is that they can never unsee what they have seen, and it is etched into their memory permanently. And it never fades with time. So if you see something really, really horrific with the sight, that memory and the feelings that are evoked by what they experienced will never really fade. Every time they remember or they think about that moment, it will be as if it had just happened. So you can drive yourself mad if you just keep the sight open at all times. But it's not really a sight as it is described. Dresden, the main character, actually sees it as like an overlay over his vision, kind of. But like it's described as some other people, it's like they just get they get vibes off of people or things, or there's like a certain scent around them, or like they can determine like what a person is by the scent that they're giving off while they have their sight, quote unquote, open. Stuff like that. So I find it interesting that this is described somewhat similarly, where it's like it's individualistic. It is unique to each person that uses it. I mean, I guess that's not actually that uncommon in magical systems. I feel like in a lot of magical systems there is some sort of uniqueness to each person that uses magic. Oh, actually, I just remembered something. I saw something. Dresden Files new release. I believe. Wait, it's out? Oh, fuck. I might be listening to a new book tonight. Oh, no. Available on January 20th. Okay. The new Dresden Files book comes out next month. I'm so excited. I feel like there are a lot of modern fantasy settings that bring in their twist on synesthesia. I don't know what that word is. What is synesthesia? I want to copy the word. I love... Production of a sense impression relating to one sensor by stimulation of another sensor. Wait, what? Okay, yeah. What is an example of synesthesia? Involve blended senses, like seeing numbers as colors, tasting words, hearing sounds as colors, or feeling touch when seeing others touch. Often involving consistent cross-sensory experiences like the letter A always being red or violin sounding blue and rectangular. What the fuck? Alright, there's no... Okay, yeah, I understand why I couldn't understand the definition by just the definition, because... what? I didn't realize that was a thing. Anyway, I've noticed that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate many images with hues and colors.
The Emperor graced me with a gift. I can see inner life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two.
Yeah.
I can see the rot from far away. It roils.
Some disorder with sensory nerve crossover, blending one sense into another one. Interesting.
Anger and boredom, sadness and joy. Everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors on the canvas of my world.
Oh, we talking about something else.
You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
What does your special sight reveal?
Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her, contrasting sharply with her shining light. It burdens the Sister of Battle. It drags her down. Yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it. Seneschal Viserion is among the few whose colors are a pleasure to look at. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him. And whenever he is angered, dark blue clouds condense over him. And in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, Lord Captain, he is the only one I would trust with my life.
Not even the Sister of Battle. Interesting.
Idira's emotions are like a maelstrom, bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors. And as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the Immaterium, Lord Captain? As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them. You are shrewd indeed. My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say the Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relate this tale seep with disgusting green hubris. I think Kalain Orselio was simply a skilled navigator.
I think the microphone... I think they changed the microphone over recording between this, between the prior... thing and this one. It sounded slightly different.
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Coronis Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
Who rules?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a Navigator house. It is the Novator who decides.
There's some
whether
places
to
that weren't
colonize
originally
this
voiced and they've
make
added new
part of
voice
their
lines.
bloodline.
Oh, okay.
As for our house, the transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Auronto Orselio is ensuring the stability of the house.
Wait. You lived in seclusion on a closed station until Fellow committed to sabotage. So then you must be the.
So, says Regent Auronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden.
They're probably right.
By all means. I have enjoyed your company. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it definitely makes sense for them to not think that you're able to do the thing, because, you know, you literally couldn't be around people without killing them up until, like, yesterday. Have you made a confession recently? No, I have not. The orphans of the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, have they not? Yes, I sometimes check in on our little ragamuffins. They don't have it easy. No parents, and they live like new recruits in an infantry regiment. Please, your lordship, do not neglect the children. You're right. I'm used to talking about important things in heart-to-heart conversations like the one we're having right now. I do not need a reminder of who he is. He's a fireman.
Greetings.
Okay. I'm actually kind of surprised. Okay. Do you have anything? Do you have a confession? No, most of my connectors working. Damned if I know, Lord Captain. If you ask me, our orphans have worlds better than they would on other ships. Fiery Reckoning. I've heard the name, that much I'm sure of, but I can't recall the details. I wonder if it was part of that operation in the late Mort that the late Mort was put in charge of. If it was, and there's nothing I can tell you, Lord Captain. The whole thing was kept under wraps. Your best chance would be to ask the High Factotum. Maybe some of his treasury records have mentions of this Fiery Reckoning. Okay. You can tell me about the other officers. Good for nothing wasters. That's what they are. Each and every one of them. Take Janice Danrock, that highborn weasel. He fawns over the officers, but some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his scheme so that they could take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmsmen was ferrying goods from Footfall for him and got caught by the seneschal and ended up in the void hatch. Sorry. Danrock couldn't care less. Yep. Voxmaster, another Tolman like the last one. Void rest him. No better. She cut off half the Vox channels the day she took up her post. Said the Vox systems were damaged. The engineer had no contact with the other modules. But how am I supposed to steer the ship? Like Congress, yeah, okay. First officer Wersarian. I can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I've ever met, he doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel in the void, but he puffs himself up all the time. All the same, and throws his weight around. Me and him have had words a few times before he left me alone. Thank the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Seneschal when it came to helming a void ship. There's that woman, what's her name? It's Lass. Lady Theodora brought her along wherever she went, and look what happened to her. Would be surprised if it turns out it was that witch that delivered her to an early grave, just like countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want a walking calamity on their ship, but some would disagree. They say she's friends with young Tolman, you know, or at least she used to be. You like anyone at all? What kind of question is that? I like you and the Lady Theodora before you. Where would I be if I was making cracks about the rogue trader, huh? I don't want to die just yet. Fair enough. All right, I'm gonna take my leave. All right. Wait. Speaking of class. Oh my God, this camera. Where's she at? She's in one of these side things, right? Yeah. Since we just picked up another psyker, she might have something to say. No? Alright, never mind. That's wild to me that she has nothing to say about that. Alright. Sorry to disturb you. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Worsarian's voice. Wanted to warn you in advance. I'm curious what this other void ship is. What you got? What? The everyday voice... The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice is the loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. What's happening? A young woman standing before Abelard... Okay, well, I missed that. The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant, you may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer would be logged in your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avrila Vent, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. Alright. What you got? This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. In no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sourback, who's standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Worsarian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Vent reels off the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them. There's an interaction in the making on my ship. I would not deem it a problem worthy. I don't know. The last time we had an insurrection on the ship, it got to be pretty fucking important for the rogue trader to know about it. Just saying. Abelard, what the fuck? Lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution, was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, he will quell the unrest. Dread to think what problem you'll disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you'll ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room. I've already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. But may your lordship sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. How did all this start? Situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and the workers to a head. Okay. I shall explain, Abelard. Beg you to hurry, time is... Shut up. I will not hurry, since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There's an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. Fair enough. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Vorsarian. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink. Now there's a strike on the lower decks in Depot 4, to be precise. Three worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation can degenerate into an all-out insurrection. But when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interest of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You'll see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way, you will stop the uprising before it begins. What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. It is home to clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now, more besides, giving succor to cultists and minions of the archenemy. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It is located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect to all the neighboring sectors. Sauerbeck, Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. Sauerbeck bows her head in Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Worsarian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that Master of Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers, and yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Worsarian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate supervisor, or superior, same thing, encourages disregard for hierarchy among your lordship's servants. That's fair. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master of Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. There is a need to be able to go over the head of your immediate superior if that immediate superior is fucking up. So I do understand that. Do you wish to respond? Mr. Sauerbeck, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior, or one where I would overrule their order, or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I've served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard has always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. That you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officer's deck handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those who you set apart with ambition and audacity, makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to their commander and no one else. This is the sole foundation of the order. Lord Captain, I swear that Seneschal Warsarian has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, nor facilitated my promotions. Although, he is the man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me extensive guidance in my service, for which I am grateful to him. And while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure that they continue to strive. To prepare new generations of the dynasty servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it, that is my duty as seneschal. This ship has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, stewards, who I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point. I see. Anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. I'm certain that he was acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. I will do this one. So preserve you, Lord Captain. I thank you for your support. An enterprise is bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Yeah, 100%. The enforcers weren't able to handle the situation, which then led to the Seneschal's involvement. I considered it my duty to go to Depot for myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident. Oh, we got the full party going with. Wait, this is gonna be like a combat encounter? That'd be kind of crazy. Well, if we must put down the rebels ourselves, we shall do so. The sweat from his brow and a startlingly human gesture, a telling one. A rare moment where he allows his age and weariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. There's a puzzle involving the steam valves. Thank you for letting me know. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. These just like robots? Yeah. We need to get to the bottom of this. Something resembling a nest made out of thermal insulation material. This is supposed to be where the workers sleep between shifts. What the fuck? What is a bed? I don't know. Like I was literally just called rabble.
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
The arteries of the ship run through many bays, delivering air, water, heat.
On the lower decks every once in a while is good for you. Lets you see how the simple folk live.
While they recharge. This is true, 100%. I've never heard of anybody calling it a fucking nest, though. That's wild. The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avrila Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of her superior, Master-at-Arms Jocasta Sauerbeck, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and has now reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order. Now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no actions can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down: the first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. Abelard mutters in crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent, Sauerbeck, looming over, or both. Your lordship, noticing you, the 2 officers snap to attention and salute, their subordinates following suit a moment later. Your lordship, my people locked out the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. Under control? Came here to lead an investigative unit, and what do I see? The rabble is on the verge of mutiny. There is nothing to investigate that simply calls for immediate repressions, and firing squads. And you, Vent, are a step away from facing charges yourself. Container can be seen beyond the massive bars. Perhaps examining the pipe will allow you to reach it.
Look no further.
Interesting. No, what the fuck?
Let us walk this path to the end.
I shall steal your loot. Fuck you. It's mine now. Inside the box, a string of scratch letters runs along the edge. Different first names, but the same surname. It looks like this box has been passed down in the family from generation to generation. You're stealing your loot? This is true. This is mine. I made this. Taking stuff that belongs to... Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I can't actually interact with the valves yet.
The divine watches over us.
A dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. A whisper passes through the crowd, and they detect a mixture of, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you have come down to us. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? The people have been pushed to their limit, and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here, like that one there that the lieutenant won't let past. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. I'm sure that there's some people who've had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who have risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and the glances traded between them reveal that the news of the attack has shocked them. All right. That's news to us, your lordship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists, one wrong word, and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating for 2 whole days. They They turn off the heating to hold bays for a week at a time, and we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. The old woman spits on the floor and rubs the spittle with the toe of her worn-out shoe. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer, makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day, who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amid ships and has no fellow feeling toward us. Your lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work at peace without being harassed. Yeah, I was told that somebody was... Yeah. Occultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? It was something... If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with, nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine. I can tell you that. It seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, those boots really were fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working... We bowed down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. The same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your lordship, we are people of faith. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the archenemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had had my 3rd little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of the amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who is not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down upon himself and his neighbors? Yeah, Abelard, what you got? I authorized the use of all necessary measures to locate chaos worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken were by the officers were not reported to me. Abelard frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken evildoers. The fuck is that word? I've never seen that before in my life. What the hell is that? Is that an actual word? Or is that a Warhammer term? A person employed or a contractor engaged at a dock to load and unload cart. He's just a dock worker. Just say dock worker, you fuck. Whatever. They're the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. Torture these people with cold. They're dock workers, apparently. Loading and unloading cargo. Yeah. The rabble understands only one language, Lord Captain, that of violence. As per regulations, should the laborers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting air supply and cutting off water. Speaking of water. Okay. The next step is limiting air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are the source of their own misery. All they have to do is bow their heads and fall in line, and the need for punitive measures will disappear. Recently, there was that huge dock worker strike across the eastern U.S. The stevedores union was involved. Oh, okay. What changes do you want? Well, would you look at that? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us, village rats, what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms, and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. That ain't happening. Yeah, you've gone too far, old man. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down our necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks, too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? For the first days out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies. We'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dare to speak out. Thoughts, Abelard? The story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity. That does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. What begins as petty thievery can turn into a far graver problem. I've seen it before. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of... only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like a metal choking vine. That's wild. So when it comes to scavengers, malcontents, strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. Master-at-Arms, where do you stand? Give the rabble a grox, and they will take an aggro world, Lord Captain. They only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers would be folly. It would only be a matter of time before we had a full-scale mutiny on our hands. Yeah, this is what, like, this is not happening. We're not giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers. Like, that is a stupid, like, imagine in the middle of the BLM riots, the fucking government just like, hey, all of you guys rioting right now, here's a bunch of fucking AK-47s and M16s, and we're also going to remove the cops from the area. Go police yourselves. That is, nothing good comes of that. Tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sideline look at the old woman. Old man, listen. The Lord Captain himself has come down to us and offered concessions. Activists did that, yeah. And I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now is no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old Nan. The three clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up, and it's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. Two are ganging up on me. Is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. Don't be fucking stupid, you old bitch. That they were government-funded activists? Yeah. No, they weren't government-funded because they were funded by a whole bunch of people that donated a shit ton of money, and then the leaders of the BLM movement all bought really fancy homes and cars and stuff because they really cared about their actual, like, whatever the fuck it was that they were rioting for. But I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against two clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. Just great. Fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. Persecution is stopped, and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. Your lordship, thank you. You have not abandoned us, Lord Deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this. Of course, your lordship. We'll root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers, and we'll leave no stone unturned. All right. Now can I mess with the valves? Not these. Still. So first off, this page is where the start of each shift is marked. The last mark is missing. The workers went on strike. Yay. The steam pressure in this pipe is close to the maximum. However, it does not reach the bars at the other end. The heat sink warms the air around it to a scorching temperature. This is the warmest part of the bay. The workers have even dragged... Oh my god. Deck chairs here. Perhaps turning a different valve will work. So is it literally just you're trying to find the right order of valves? Because like the first one, like I can't interact with it. I can't interact with this valve anymore. Wait, do I really just have to like... But there is a visual cue? Team Nice, I would like to join your next stream. What's over? That's not really something that I do. I appreciate the words, but I don't... I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Uh-oh. Are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, their rabble will welcome them in with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valencia's Protectorate? Your actions practically guaranteed it would. I would have handled this situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain Theodora? Do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. And I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Yes, you probably should. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds, they create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then, suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hangar on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I'm duty bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. Except for the fact that these didn't solve the problems. Like these literally did not solve the issues. They kicked the can down the road. Just as important to me, you're the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on the ship. I think in the future I'll follow. No. I'll tell you what Theodore created, and I trust that this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. Theodora trusted in established procedures and she died. I won't make the same mistake. If you want to keep building the future of the Von Valancius Protectorate with me, stop living in the... I don't like that one either. But you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in the new world, a world where Theodora is gone and where you and I have new... I really don't like any of these. But I've kind of already started going down this line, so I think I'm going to just continue. Like I've talked about this before. I feel like the whole like this has worked in the past, therefore it should continue working now. It's like there is an amount of validity to that statement, but you can't just only look at things through that lens. Your resolve is admirable and demonstrates strong leadership. I shall remember this moment, should my old habits ever begin to creep back in. Hell yeah. Let us leave the lower decks. Please don't force me out. I have shit to do. Okay, good. Okay, I think I'm catching the visual cue.
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
Was that right? Maybe not, because I'm not seeing it anymore. Okay, I'll try this one. Yeah, I didn't think so. Like, I was getting there.
Know your duty.
There's nothing down there. Unless it is this one next? No. Okay. I didn't think so. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, where's the next one? It's not there. Is it this one now? Doesn't look like it. The problem is I keep forgetting where the other valves are. Like, I know that there's this one here. This one here. Wait, what? No. Oh. Nice. And we leveled up. Hell yeah. I'll do the level ups whenever we leave. Yeah, I guess it just doesn't update. Like, because I looked at it and it didn't look like it was steaming there. And I guess you just have to, like, I just had to actually go there. All right, so now we can level everybody up. Hell yeah. We are an operative. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think I just want to do this. Like, this is a prereq for other stuff. For the next attack against a target affected by an exploit, the target's cover efficiency and block will be reduced by 15 plus 6/3 times stacks of exploits %. So, for example, if we have like 5 exploits, and what is the 6? It's intelligence, perception. So it'd be 15 plus 2 times 5, so it would be 25% if we have 5 exploits. And I would have an extra 25% chance to hit. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's really good. All right, anyway. Logic, tech use. We are not a logical person. Some missing bits of shape. Yeah, I don't. It's frustrating because my fucking internet is just like really unstable today. Like I am currently at a 31% dropped frame rate. 30.9% of my frames have been dropped today. Since the last time that I got fully disconnected, which I don't know exactly when that happened. All right, warrior. Oh, toughness or weapon skill. Oh, this increases parry chance. Yeah, let's take that. Like, duh. I'm doing my part. This reminds me of Starship Troopers. Another character in the current party has the same archetype as this character. The first archetype ability used in each combat by this character costs 1 AP less. That could be good. Wait, do I have anything like that? Do I have an archetype ability? I mean, I guess probably like Reckless Strike, right? %, critical chance. 10% armor against Xenos and demonic creatures. Their allies gain half of the bonuses of no heresy. Ooh. Charge, endure, and reckless strike. Okay. Still dropping. I fucking hate my internet. Imperial character is affected by an ally's non-damaging ability. The resolve is increased by 1 for 1 round. What's resolve again? I always forget. Oh, efficiently and for how long characters can fight. Determines the amount of momentum gain. Ah, okay. All allies, including Xenos in the current party, gain +5 to the same characteristic as was chosen for humanity's finest. Wait. What does he have for humanity's finest? Toughness? So just giving everybody a +5 to toughness. I mean, that's basically like giving everybody a +1 to Constitution. That's basically what we're looking at. That would basically be giving everybody a +1 Constitution in terms of Pathfinder. Which doesn't actually do anything unless we already are at an odd number for our toughness. So I don't think that this is worth it. I think that it sounds really good, but unless you kind of build your party around this, it's kind of garbage, right? This, however... Wait, what is his lore? Lord Xenos. Lore warp. So he wouldn't be the person that's using that anyway. This is actually like really good. Having 6 Imperials in the party all taking it means that you can give +30 in stats to party members. Yeah. But that again requires you to have a party of 6 Imperials. It requires you, yeah. Again, like, you have to build around that. Like, it can be really, really strong. But also, that would require you to have 6 Imperials that all have a stat boost to the same stat. Can't believe that Imperial humans are xenophobe. I know, that's crazy. And what stats would an entire party care about? Like, yeah, to an extent. What's it called? Toughness. But like, that's such a secondary stat, especially for like ranged characters and casters. Toughness or agility? Yeah. But like, I think that this is just like, it's nice if you can make it work with your party already, but the more I think about it, the less I like. 30 toughness is 30% bonus HP. It is. This is true. However, is it worth building an entire party around having 30% bonus HP instead of all of the other things that you could be gaining instead? I think this is just like insanely good. 30% dodge or down to 50% in heavy armor. That I would say is actually better. I would say 30% dodge over 30% bonus HP is better. Especially if dodge chance stacks on top of itself. You just have an entire party that's entirely unhittable. So the question that I have is, and I don't actually want an answer to this question because it's a spoiler, is like, how soon do we start running into Zetos and this shit? Right? Because like, as of right now, we've only fought humans. Except for the one demon. Right? We had one demon that we fought. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. A lot of late game. I figured as much. Willfire resistance test. If it succeeds, the target is merely blinded. If the target fails, they become blinded and suffer a -5 to all characteristics reduced by blindness. And must make a willpower resistance test at the end of each turn. The first success makes them just blinded. The second success removes blinded. Okay. Biomancers can heal wounds. Biomancer and combat are often reduced to naught but a pile of charred bones. Sanctic powers are used by Highest psychers, protect allies, and smite heretics. Wait. What power? Like, how? Where do I see their powers? Like, where's the spell list? You can't get a heal until you get another ability pick. Ah. Oh, that's right. I did this as well. Gotcha. Minus 20 to willness and willpower and toughness until the end of the combat. Until the end of combat. Within a 12 cell radius. That's actually a crazy. This is actually crazy. Holy shit. Target ally gains plus 20 to willpower and toughness till the end of combat. So this is just 1 AP. You get to lay down the center of... Yeah. The actual AoE is the pattern. Oh, okay. Even still. Okay, so that's not quite... I was about to say, 12 cell radius is bonkers. But even still, like, this is kind of crazy. That's just like... Yeah, converting back to Pathfinder, that's just a -4 to willpower and toughness. Without a save, it looks like. It looks like this is just like no save, this just happens. And get fucked. And it's all enemies. It's not all creatures, which is also really, really nice. Huh. Interesting. I think this is like insanely good. Really funny before they made it not work on turret. That's nice. I like that. That's funny as fuck. So for 10% additional damage for any source of warp damage. Wiggle across the ground. Oh, I bet that was funny as fuck. All right, so this immediately makes me think that this is like insanely good. Just like a passive, everything has a -5% chance to dodge and hit. Takes an extra turn. The Navigator against taking fun. I don't think I have that many. Again, this is like something that's like insanely good if you build for it. Makes all resistance tests with their willpower is higher. The characteristic for such. Sure. What's your willpower? 55 versus 30. All right, so first off, we're gonna go back. We're gonna take Waking Nightmare. Point of Curiosity is a great ability for bunching things up for AoE attacks. This is an AoE that makes things well. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was looking at that. I was like, that seems like really, really fun as well. Six cell radius around the target point up to 12 cells away from the navigator must pass a willpower resist assessor. Immediately move 3 cells toward that point. Target move, even if they're stunned or immobile. Yeah. It's just like a vacuum suck everybody in, right? And it's just you need... Oh, cool! Oh, no, wait. Zone of Fear is a different one. Melee heavy party, since you can force a lot of opportunity attacks from movement. Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. I really like Eye of Oblivion with this. Mind Over Matter is also really good, but I think I take that next. I think that's the next thing that I take. When do I get another... Oh, wow. 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? Okay, so I can't get it... Oh, wait, I could literally get it here. Right? Yeah. Potentially I get that next... I could get that next level. Yeah, I think this is fine. Just like a passive minus 5% chance to hit. Wait. 1 plus willpower bonus over 2? Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. You. What was I getting for you? Oh yeah, I was thinking about grabbing one of these. Uh I think that's fine, right? Oh, God damn it. What's her logic? 43? Everybody else's. Mine, even after the penalty, is still 35, which is higher than most other people. Okay, so she is a logic person. So do we just take pyromancy and logic? Probably, right? I like how our crazy person is our logic person. I find that idea to be fairly funny. Hmm. You'll get an in character as your next companion. Ah. I think that There's so many ways for us to be able to like reduce dodge chance and increase hit chance that I think that increasing ballistic skill isn't really that big of a deal. It seems. Hey. So does this stack? Because if this stacks, that's kind of gross, and also like really kind of busted. 3 armor pen with chain and power weapons, critical. We raw hit, miss chance. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like it just doesn't do that much other than just like raw hit chance, which we have other ways to get around. Wait, what is perplexed? Each stack inflicts a -10 to ballistic, weapon skill, intelligence, and perception. Interesting. I think hit chance over 100% transfers to crit chance, but I could be remembering old calculations from way back. That would be really nice. Because like that, it is one thing that I really don't like is a lot of times once you get to, like once you have 100% hit chance, there's no point in ever taking more than that, right? And I do like giving people a reason to go further into that. And just being able to double dip on crit chance. Like, you know, just like base bonuses to crit chance, which we have a bunch of at this point. Or... well, actually, let me take a look. Which... was it agility? So she has a 55 in agility. A lot of ways to get auto crits in this game, and then you start stacking crit multiplier. Yeah. So who has a odd agility? Nobody has an odd agility. See, like, this is kind of why I was like, yeah, I don't think that it's really worth it to take the others. Because, like, yeah, so if I took the stronger together, Terry would get an actual extra stack of toughness. But he's literally the only one. Okay, so anyway, agility, yes. Bolt weapons. Maybe. Oh my god, it's toughness. It's actual it's the toughness feat. Except it's the toughness feat that doesn't... Wait, what? What is this scale off of? Willpower. Oh. Okay. But yeah, do we know if No Heresy stacks? Like, because I have this on Abelard, if I get this on her, does that mean that her and Abelard have a plus 15% chance? And everybody else has a plus 10? Is that how that works? Called It Will Not Die. I know. Yeah, it's just like, I saw maximum wounds are increased by 3, and I was like, I know this. I don't generally take that and haven't tested it. Boo. I guess I could take this. I guess that's fine, because since we don't know if this stacks or not, I don't really want to take it. Because if it doesn't stack, then it's basically she gets an extra plus 5% crit chance against these specific enemies. And I think that's just not worth it. All right, still going to the void ship. What we have here, Lord Captain, it is not very noticeable, but there is a void ship sitting in the local asteroid field. It sure is quiet, like it's huddled up there on purpose. It's not like I'm surprised the thing is more scrap heap than ship at this point. Someone sure went to town on it. We're registering critical damage to the hull and depressurization of several compartments. Oh, there's an incoming transmission now, too. Eating up food, but I could load up a late save and respec a few people to have it. That'd be nice. I would appreciate if you could let me know that. Heroes do not require assistance. Repeat, do not require assistance. Lord Captain, I'm told our augurs cannot determine the allegiance of the vessel. To be brief, there is an unidentified and badly damaged vessel within an asteroid field near the Rykati Philia colony that is refusing help, which, not to put too fine a point on it, has not yet been offered to them. Can we establish communication? Connection is established. Unknown vessel, we are receiving you. Identify yourselves. I repeat, identify yourselves. Do not tell. Tell him. We're done for. This is Thunderfang. We are a merchant vessel. Do you copy? We are a private merchant vessel. Merchant vessel, of course they are. Damn my stupid head. Where did I hear this name before? Thunderfang. Target Thunder. Jesus. Why can we not identify? I don't know. Our vessel is badly damaged. Damage preventing the correct identification. We assure you, peaceful merchant vessel. Thunderfang does not require aid. Damage report. Multiple hull breaches, most likely caused by the guns of a combat ship. Several compartments are leaking air. The bridge has been almost completely obliterated. 2 of the engines are critically damaged. Somebody gave them a thrashing so solid they barely managed to limp away. What happened? By bursting into a cacophony of sounds, words, and emotions. Someone chuckles bitterly, another swears with some foul expletives, yet another hisses, furiously demanding that the others shut up. You manage to make out a little from all this noise. We were just flying, minding our own business, straight out of the blue and opened fire. Miracle we could get away, Emperor protected, and then more fire. Who? Void only knows. Roasted our tail, bombed everything. Our folks are left without our help. We never got to them. I highly recommend the truth. It's too late now. We are from the Fellowship of the Void. We did not come here to loot, on a different business, to help our own. Out of jail. Do not hurt, please. We already had our Kronos cleared. How about striking a deal? Our hold is full of plunder, I mean goods. If you're unaware, Lord Captain, the Fellowship of the Void is a disorderly assembly of several dozen pirate factions in the Coronis Expanse. They consider themselves above regular heretics solely because they sometimes have vox conversations with those whom they are about to board. Were it up to me, I would make them eat a salvo from the macro cannons to shake the scum loose from the decks. They certainly deserve it. High factotum generous Danrook. I would wait on destroying the vessel if I were you, although the moral aspects of their livelihood do cause some awkward questions. The Fellowship of the Void remains a major supplier of goods to the local market. Perhaps you'll find dealing with them acceptable, especially in a situation where performing a work jump is impossible. We kill them. Right? I'm pretty sure we kill them. Especially considering what we just learned about accepting heretical items and the dangers that come with them. Yeah, we blow them up. I beg forgiveness for my impertinence, but let me remind you once again, we are currently locked in the system without the ability to jump anywhere else. Be reasonable. Do you really, now of all times, want to get rid of a trading partner? And remember, the Fellowship of the Void is very likely to learn about what is to transpire. Yep. Was that a question or a moral conundrum? Successful salvo. The augurs are reporting a successful hit. We do not register any survivors. Death to the pirate scum. Glory to the Von Valancius dynasty. Yeah! Fuck them. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to their captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Bloodspun Web. The cult defends the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their... All right. One of your vendors in this chapter, you didn't like those guys anyway. I mean, like, look, it's like the Fellowship of the Void. I have never once... We will continue this conversation in a moment. I'm so happy that the game spazzed out for a moment as they decapitated that third person. Or that fourth person, I should say. Those on the deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement, while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
Interesting. So anyway, what I was about to say before I got distracted by whatever the fuck was going on here, you know, if you're there's 5 factions of traders that are the stores in this game. The pirates are one of them. Blowing that up doesn't lock you out of trading with them. It just locks you out of that particular vendor. Well, we'll blow up the rest of them once we get to them. Fellowship of the Void. I have never once in the entirety of my life come across a fictional world where anybody that deals or is allies with the Void are a good faction to deal with. Not a single time. You know, you would think after a certain amount of, you know, attempts, they would just, you know, start hiding that they are, you know, Void, like, you know, evil peoples, heretics. They falsely tell you the... Okay, we already did this.
Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
Void in Warhammer is the word for space? Oh, well, I didn't know that. They're also just pirates, so fuck them.
And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion. We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibella. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
You have heard many stories about death cults such as this one. These devoted holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, while others see their fearsome rituals as friendly spectacles touched by madness. Yeah, I'm kind of, you know, in that second... Examine the captives. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down their tear-stained faces, and the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision. Traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing. Fun!
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
Cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. The death cult watches over my crew. They who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him, sacred executioner.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the blood-spun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
Wait. Like, I get that it's probably a hell of a lot more real in the fucking in Warhammer, but the fact that they're literally just using tarot cards is really funny to me. All right, let's go.
Devout assassins who believe themselves to be instruments of a higher power. They revel in violence and cannot tell the difference between bloodthirst and piety.
I like this voice.
They follow their faith blindly, unaware of how closely they tread the corruption and depravity. Look at them. They stand on the edge of a precipice.
Tarot cards and hallucinogenic drugs, yeah.
Push will send them plummeting into the abyss. You could be their downfall. All you have to do is push.
Tell me about yourself. Are you the leader, or its herald, or its servant?
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts. The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the heart.
The best combination for accuracy, yeah.
When a soul is filled
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others. The virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One. Our laws and teachings, our philosophy and way of life, our art of combat and spiritual dogma, the tenets are the blood-spun web itself. Humanity
All right.
owes its existence to the Undying Emperor's sacrifice. It is he who protects us from a darkness of terrors. Hence, each of us has a duty to serve him, and a duty to die for him. To act otherwise is to waste the life that has been given to us by the Undying One, to become a thief. We help others understand this. We help them to live and die righteously.
Oh boy.
We follow his design. We claim those marked by his omens. We submit to his will. How could it be otherwise?
I find that acceptable. Alright, what is this?
You may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One, is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself. Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
All right.
Then, I will tell you of the treacherous blood that runs through...
All right, what's going on here? Good camera angle, by the way. With the pillar blocking half of the fucking screen. Oh, no voice acting for this. All right. These wretched apostates were caught trying to sabotage the reactor. They are guilty of treason. I swear, we are not A woman in a tattered protective suit pushes forward in protest, but her movement is halted by the thin cord wrapped around her neck. Notice that all the captives have been similarly restrained. The woman clutches her throat as a thin line of scarlet appears between her fingers. Theft of weapons, sabotage, the deaths of the crew in Bay AL-82. Bonus crit chance is plus 10% from No Heresy. Okay, so you don't, so it doesn't stack. So having it once. Wait. Is that somebody who has it, or is that somebody who's benefiting from two different people? Wait. Okay, I loaded up an endgame save and shot a filthy Xenos with two people in my party that have No Heresy. Log shows my bonus crit chance is 10% from No Heresy. Okay. Do you have proof of these charges, or are such claims the result of cultic revelations? There's doubt in the Infernus Master's gentle voice. With all due respect, it is difficult to discern the truth of these accusations without evidence. Divine visions and dark portents may be reason enough for you to shed blood, but not everyone here shares your perspective. Enough, Heinrich. Lord Captain will decide the truth of these claims for himself. Yeah, wait, so what's the deal with these other prisoners? Those scoundrels aided the traitor Voitvir and were caught carrying weapons. Their guilt and sentence were certain. They avoided immediate execution only so that the blood of the wicked could flow in a scarlet trail that led the blood-spun web to your glorious halls. The practice of sacred divination using the bones and sinews of a martyr led us to the reactor room. This is true, but it is also true that I beheld the act of treachery with my own eyes. What did the accused say in their defense? Have mercy, we're just tactical tunnel workers. We were told to block the ventilation shaft leading into the reactor room. Fume leakage, supposedly. We didn't know we were doing anything wrong. We were just following orders. As for why we were holding weapons, that was, well, you know. I know. She's lying. They smeared blood on themselves and crawled out of the tunnel wailing, "Oh no, the ship's been attacked. There are enemies anywhere. Defend the bay." We rushed off to investigate. They used their cutters, break into the weapon storage at our guard station. They stole guns and headed straight to the reactor room. Bone and sinew revealed your hubris. You abandoned vigilance for the promise of glory. You did not give weapons to the traitors, but you left your post to seek a hero's path. Though you did not act with treasonous intent, you are complicit nonetheless. Somebody who doesn't have it, doesn't show a bonus from No Heresy, but does have a 5% crit chance from something called base. That's probably just because you have a, you know, a nat 20 gives you a crit chance. That's weird that they are just not getting a bonus from it. The base crit chance was 30. Oh, okay. So it looks like it does not stack. Giving the 5%, yeah. I think we're going to demote the officer into subordinates. And we will execute the people that lied and try to sabotage the reactor. Your lordship, the spinners of the Bloodspun Web were watching, tracking, and killing Von Valencia's enemies long before the word of trade was passed to Lady Theodora. However, their blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. The factotum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance at Cabela. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I'm sure they must have a good reason. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the Bloodspun Web, for we share a common goal, to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of the ship. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, those spinners took a train driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malak did to earn that privilege, though, and who's going to feed his family now? Does the lower decker problem? What matters is the Bloodspun Web serves you faithfully. Lord Captain. My predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinners saved this vessel from the servants of the archenemy. The Bloodspun Web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship. Oh, I'm yawning. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins, and the beat of its heart. Their great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valancius. I've heard, though only at a distance, the prayers of the spinners offer up to him. I've seen how their deeds fill the people's hearts with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The Bloodspun Web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the archenemy. Although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the Bloodspun Web and approved of its mission. It is strange. Their shadowy forms are swathed in darkness, yet a radiant light burns within them like scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. Confessor, tell me about it. Vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the immaterial for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became hunted. The famished became a feast. So, Wendigos. You want Wendigos? Because that's how you get Wendigos. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders, but then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tipped dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the bloodspun web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. Yeah, sure. Movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Domin, Harry von Valancius, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One. For so it was ordained, and so his tarot or smoke. Young woman bows her head once more. I also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. He wishes you to know the doors to the Undying One's temple are open to you. Try again and see if those modifiers still exist. Okay, cool. The greatest, most sacred roleplay of the Bloodspun Web, the Emperor's Tarot. Only his chosen servants may earn the permission to rain blood upon the cards and perform a reading to see portents of the future, shadows of the past, or tangles of the present. However, the secrets of his tarot are not for the ears of lay people to hear. I cannot tell you more, not here, not now. Who's the Vizier? He is the first among us. The Vizier has spun the web of faith for fivefold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood, my mentor and teacher. Wait. So he's been killing people for 5 times longer than you've been alive? How old is this guy? Why is he not here himself? The first spinner is old. His abode is in the temple beneath the flagship's freight line, and he has not left the lower decks in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. Oh, okay. So he's not doing well. Gotcha. Where's your temple located? I'm not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Ariane, the matriarch spider. Hers was the thread that would become the Bloodspun Web. Her path began deep within the flagship, the dark tunnels of the freight line, and that is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring you closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to understanding death. Sure. All right. So the hilarious thing about what's going on right now with my fucking bitrate is my bitrate, even when it's dropping, the overwhelming majority of the time, and obviously, of course, as soon as I start talking about it, it goes lower. It's still not dropping lower than the 6K bitrate that I used to stream at. Like, it's still usually dropping to 6K, maybe slightly lower. Alright, so the Rogue Trader ship is a veritable sailing city sailing through the void. The ship has numerous compartments that you can visit. Navigate to these compartments. Yeah. Alright. I'm not doing that right now. Oh, wait. Shit. No. Close this. Exit out. Exit out. Back to bridge. If I have a new party member, I probably have to level her up. Right. Yep. All right, so she's a blade dancer. Okay. So what do we got? Blade Dancer. Blade Dancer makes 3 melee attacks against random targets, including allies adjacent to the Blade Dancer, each dealing 50% of their normal damage. Blade Dance is a melee burst attack that does not count toward the attack limit per turn. Oh, interesting. This ability can only be used with a sword equipped. If 2 swords are equipped, the Blade Dancer makes 2 attacks with each one. Straight line area, which is the Void Shadows DLC area for this level. Ah, gotcha. Alright, what else we got? Medicae. Interesting. Okay. Death from above! The Blade Dancer leaps into the air and lands on the selected cell. Upon landing, they deal 9 damage to all adjacent enemies. This leap can be made to any unoccupied cell within a 3-cell radius in the Blade Dancer's line of sight. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. The Blade Dancer cannot jump to a cell that is inaccessible in combat. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but each use requires a charge to be spent and inflicts 1 stack of short of breath on their next turn. Or on the Blade Dancer until the start of their next turn. Reduces strength and perception by minus 10%. And Owlcat, please hire me. I am the autist that you need to fix these fucking descriptions. The way that this is written, each stack of this effect reduces strength and perception by minus 10% and dodge by minus 20%. The way that this is written, the way that it should actually affect you is that each stack of this should increase your strength and perception by 10%. And it should increase your dodge by 20%. Because if you're reducing something by a negative, you're adding that. The Blade Dancer gains +1 charge of this ability each time they kill a target, excluding kills made with this ability. Can only be used with a sword equipped. Okay. What do we got here? Death Waltz. The Blade Dancer uses Death from above against a target enemy without spending a charge, immediately making a melee attack against that enemy. The Blade Dancer repeats this combination up to 3 times against random available targets. It is impossible to use Death from above. Oh, if it is impossible to use Death from above, Blade Dancer only makes a melee attack against a random available target. Can be the same. The base that was adding 5% to crit and armor does not exist anymore. Okay. So that's the... Okay, gotcha. Cool. Good to know. Blade Dancer's Medicae is now determined by weapon skill instead of intelligence. If their weapon skill is higher, the Blade Dancer deals 5 plus Medicae over 10% critical damage and can use medkits as if having Medicae skill advancement or the corresponding feature or talent. Okay. Got it. That was bugged to flag before back to 100% completion again. Hell yeah. So wait, the people that had no heresy also had that plus 5% base bonus. Okay, so what is this? Ability or talent uses the fellowship bonus. A voidborn character can instead use the intelligence bonus if it is higher. Additionally, a voidborn character can always upgrade intelligence even though their archetype does not allow. Okay. Here, let's do this. Weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, agility. Intelligence is not actually that high. Perception, willpower, fellowship. What is our Medicae? It's also 55. Okay. So what this tells me, because the people that did not have it still only got +5, they did not have a +10. So this tells me that you can't stack it higher than 15%. And you're only giving a +5% to the other people that have it. Actual base chances for things, since that is listed at the top of the list and the base was like second to bottom. Yeah. Okay, so her intelligence just isn't that big. Isn't that big? Isn't so smart and not that big. Okay. Scores a critical hit. There's a 10% chance to double the damage. So double the critical hit damage. But it's much smaller. Yeah. So having 2 means that everyone... Yeah. The Voidbird character, it has more than 50% wounds, all chances of all creatures, including enemies. While a Voidbird character has less than 50, all chances of all creatures, including enemies in 3-cell radius, are decreased by 10%. Interesting. Character has a 20% chance to survive after suffering lethal damage, surviving with 1 wound. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what the? +1 stack of what effect? Of the bloodstained effect. Got it. Okay, so each time the Death Cult assassin parries or dodges an attack, all enemies with the bloodstain gain another bloodstain. So what does bloodstain do again? +2% more damage for each stack of the bloodstain effect. I mean, I guess, yeah, that's... Wait, I just realized something. Wait, going back to this. Blade Dancer's Medicaid is now determined by weapon skill instead of... instead of intelligence. Never mind. Summon equipment in the game that gives bonuses only to Death Cultists. This means Cabela, since even though you can join the cult, it doesn't give you the bonuses. I tested. Oh, okay. Good to know. Open the vase. Creature with the blood blessed or blood stain effect gains +1 stack of this effect. Whatever bleeding, burning, or toxin is inflicted. Okay. Blood blessed or blood stained gains +1 stack of this effect each time it's suffered. Wait, what? Didn't I? Oh, okay. Holy fuck. That's so nitpicky. Weapon skill boost Medicaid and also use Medicaid to determine their bonus HP rather than toughness. Yeah. So this one, whenever bleeding, burning, or toxin is inflicted, this one, whenever bleeding, burning, or toxin deals damage. I think I like Dance of Thorns quite a bit, honestly. Like, I just need to... Like, the best thing would be to just get a whole bunch of people bloodstained and then put the Blade Dancer in the middle of a large group of enemies. Fuck, man. Although this does, yeah, so weapon skill does boost parry, right? So we want to get our weapon skill up as much as possible because that's, yeah. Immediately returns to the cell where they started their turn. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Yeah. This movement repeats all uses of this ability in reverse? That's crazy. Plus 8 wounds to use. Blade Dancer selects an ally until the end of the combat. Attacks made by the Blade Dancer against enemies who have already attacked that ally gain plus 50% crit chance and 28% crit damage. The ability can be used multiple times per turn, but the bonuses do not stack. If you are making a video game and it takes you this much text to describe a single ability, recently limited that ability because it was, well, I've gotten 20 plus jumps per turn and you could clear an entire map in a single turn with one Blade Dancer if done right. The nerf was justified. Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, that is like bonkers crazy. That is bonkers crazy good. Faces inside of their choice immediately ends their turn. Until the beginning of the Blade Dancer's next turn, they can dodge area attacks without moving, are immune to all types of forced movement, gain 20% parry against attacks from that side, and can now parry attacks made against adjacent allies. Veil of Blades. Pick a direction. You're now blocking in this direction and can deflect bullets. This costs health. Pretty much. Oh, wait. Well, under the effect of Veil of Blades, the Blade Dancer can even parry ranged attacks, except for ranged area attacks made from that side. The chance to parry a ranged attack is calculated as if it were a melee attack, where the attacker's weapon skill is equal to the hit chance of the attack. If an attack is parried... If an attack is parried in this way, it can be redirected toward one of the enemies on the selected side. The chance of redirection is equal to half of the Blade Dancer's parry chance against this attack. Jesus. Alright, Blood Oath. So dispatch their mark. The Blade Dancer's next attack against their selected enemy cannot be dodged or parried. If this attack kills the target, Blade Dancer regains 13 wounds and gains 1 AP along with an additional attack this turn. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but it grants plus 1 AP and additional attack only once per round. That's annoying. The thing that's annoying is the swapping between the term turn and the term round. The sum of a character's actions during a round. On their turn, a character can spend movement points to move. Yeah, if you're... Wait, hold up. Full set of characters going a turn is your turn. I get that they are different, but I'm trying to figure if there's a reason to specify round here instead of just an additional attack only once per turn. Even if you get multiple turns. I keep forgetting that multiple turns is a thing. I keep forgetting that multiple turns is a thing, because that's not a thing in the Pathfinder games. Blade Dancer's next attack inflicts bleeding 9 on all targets hit. These targets must pass a toughness resistance test with a 20 penalty or become immobilized for 1 round. Okay, it's full cover for the Blade Dancer and their allies when adjacent to those enemies. Interesting. I kind of like acrobatic artistry. I think that's just like insanely busted. Blade Dancer attacks made with a sword deal plus agi bonus % additional damage. But all the Blade Dancer stuff, yeah, that's what I've noticed. I've noticed that like all of this stuff is insanely good. Okay. I feel like this isn't quite as good. Because it's agility bonus %. Small amount of bonus dodge by making an ally bleed, which is still really good in the right circumstances. Yeah. That's fair. Because, like, right now, what is her... Yeah. Agility, 50. So it's only a 5. So that's only a 5%. Oh, you fucking assholes. All right, I got Dance of Thorns, I want to say. Weapon skill. Acrobatic artistry. Medicae. Weapon skill. God damn. That's annoying that it, like, reset all of my levels. Binding Blade. Enemies attacked by the Blade Dancer have their weapon skill, ballistic skill, and perception reduced by just remove the minus. Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading it. Enemies attacked by the Blade Dancer the weapon skill until the start of the Blade Dancer's next turn. These penalties do not stack. Fair. Maximum wounds are increased by Blade Dancer's dodge over 10. Each attack made by Blade Dancer increases the damage of all subsequent attacks they make this turn by 5%. This attack stacks up to 3 times. Area attacks, burst attacks, including the Blade Dance, and any other attacks that deal multiple hits are considered single attacks. Parries increased by toughness, bonus %, and attackers melee critical hit chance bonus is different. Determined by the difference between the attackers and the Blade Dancer's weapon skill characteristic is half. Melee area attacks cost -1 AP. -1 AP less. I'm so happy that we have something that increases the amount of AP cost by 1. The double negatives in this game are driving me fucking batty. I can't deal with it. Blade Dancer can use both a Desperate Measure and a Heroic Act in the same combat, but not in the same round. Whenever the Blade... Okay. I literally haven't used a single one of these yet, so I'm not worried about it. Whenever the Blade Dancer is healed for the first time in a round, they are healed for an additional +10 toughness, or plus toughness bonus wounds, and gain +10 toughness until the... Huh. It's not a -10 penalty. It reduces a stat by -10. It doesn't reduce the cost by 1. It makes the cost -1 less. Yeah. It's just like every single time that they have a penalty to a stat, it's double negatived. Whenever the Blade Dancer uses an ability that costs wounds, they gain +3 movement points in the current turn. Wait, but if you use an ability... Okay, so Okay, no, it's fine. I was like, but wait, when you use an ability, it uses up all of your movement points. These are obviously added after. The Blade Dancer kills an enemy. The Blade Dancer's resolve is increased by +1 until the... Okay, as long as the Blade Dancer has 2 swords equipped, the Blade Dancer's weapon skill is increased by agility bonus. Interesting. The agility bonus, so it's only a +5. Duelist deals an additional 5 plus weapon skill bonus % damage against enemies armed with a melee weapon. Wait. So the first time that you dodge... Wait. Whenever a Blade Dancer dodges an attack made by an enemy who attacks them for the first time, the Blade Dancer gets +1 charge of death from... Okay, got it. Blade Dancer gains +3 weapon skill, +3 agility for every injury they are currently suffering, and a +10 weapon skill to +10 agility for every trauma. Yeah. I got that. It was just like my brain was just like, wait, what? Lawyering? Yep. That's what we're doing here. Deals double damage to enemies that have less than 50%. Alright. Every time an enemy is killed by the Blade Dancer's allies, the number of MP on the Blade Dancer's next turn is increased by 2. I don't think that's necessary. If all the strikes made as part of Blade Dance are directed against the same target, the last strike deals double damage. Who's the new guy? Cabela's. It's Cabela's. And she's doing some lawyering. She's doing some lawyering. She's gonna start hunting for us. I like this a lot as well. This is really good for like bosses. Blade Dancer kills an enemy with an attack of opportunity. The Blade Dancer immediately gains +1 charge. Blade Dancer has killed 4 enemies in total. The next ability, which requires spending wounds, will cost no wounds and instead restore 13. Blade Dancer has less than 50% wounds. Don't care. Where the Blade Dancer uses acrobatic artistry, their dodge and cover efficiency are increased by 5 plus agility bonus %. This is going to be 10%. Until the end of their next turn. Bonus is doubled against all attacks made by enemies during the Blade Dancer's turn. Including extra turns. Why the parentheses? That's another thing that I like. They really like adding parentheses to these calculations. No, I guess it is necessary because of the %. Never mind. Whenever the Blade Dancer parries an attack, the number of attacks made by the next Blade Dance is increased by 1. This text. I like that a lot. As the final number, and sometimes not, and it's completely inconsistent when it happens. Math order may be very important. Yeah. I was just like, wait, why is this one? Like, it was specifically this one, right? But there's the % afterwards, so that's why. That is very important. Because otherwise it would just be 5 plus agility %. Or agility bonus %. Instead of... And that it would just, like, end up being... Their dodge and cover efficiency, it would end up being, like, 5 plus 5%. Which wouldn't make any sense, right? So, yeah, the parentheses in this one are entirely warranted. There's a lot of really good stuff here. Like, an actually insane amount of really good stuff. I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell we pick here. I think we take guillotine. I think that's fine. Yeah, see, we got Cabela's. All right. I was given a sword. Yeah, I think that's easily the best thing for us. We're the Space Marines in this game. I feel like that would probably break the game. Because, what my understanding of the Space Marines in Warhammer is they are fucking broken. Like, absolutely fucking broken. Hooray! We made cult friends. And we blew up a ship that of people that I misunderstood because preconceptions. But I'm gonna have to call it here. Hi, kitten. Kitten time at the very end. Come here. Come here. Become shoulder cat. You had a space battle? Nice. No, we didn't have a space battle. We just blew up we blew up a ship that told us to leave them alone because Fellowship of the Void. And I was like, oh, Void. Void is evil. Void is abyss. Void is chaos. Void is bad. Not realizing that in Warhammer, Void is just space. So, hauling definitely illegal cargo. Yeah, and like also the way that the Fellowship of the Void is introduced, it's introduced as like these are pirates. These are 1000% pirates. This is a very happy kitty right now. Hi. But as we get ready to go, no stream tomorrow as always. Friday and Saturday we're gonna be doing more Loader Woder Inevitable Access DLC stuffs. Even though you're also kind of just a pirate. If you have not done so already, if you're on the YouTube side, I would very much appreciate a subscription. They are free, oftentimes. If you're on the Kick side, I would appreciate a follow. Those are also free. Or if you're feeling very generous, you could also subscribe, which is not free, but it would help the channel. Yeah. Loader Woder, it's Friday and Saturday. Next Tuesday, we're going to be doing the Knit Arena run. We are down to the last 10 Pokemon. Less than, at this point. Less than the last 10 Pokemon before we are finished entirely with Gen 1. And yeah, we will be doing Knit Arena on Tuesday, and then next Wednesday, 1 week from today, we will be back doing more Rogue Tradering. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching and hanging out. I appreciate y'all as always. And as always, I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. I hope you have a good evening, and I hope to see you. Bye-bye. And thanks for watching. If you would like to help support the channel, you can do so by following, subscribing, joining the Discord, or maybe even checking out the Patreon or Throne links down below.